My name is David Vincent. I am old. Go ahead.
We are here with
David Vincent.
and
I am a voice actor based out of Los Angeles, California. I'll list off a few roles that some of you may know me from. Probably my best known role is from the anime series Bleach. And I do the character of Grimjow Jaggerjack in that. And I do have a couple of new ones coming out. Blue Exorcist is actually out on Toonami now, and I do the voice for Angel in that series. And then we've also got Fate Zero coming out, where I do the characters Archer and Gilgamesh. And that's just a couple among many.
okay. How did you get into voice acting?
I got into voice acting years ago in New York City. I had actually, I'm from Colorado, and
Really?
so yeah, I'm from Arvada, and I went to University of Colorado, and I did all the theater there, and got my degree in journalism actually. But I moved to New York City after graduating from CU, and I decided that I was going to go do stage, do stand-up, do sketch, and so I was there, and I was doing sketch comedy at this little theater in Times Square called Don't Tell Mama. And I was there, and I was doing a sketch where I was making fun of TV commercials. And so I'm doing 1,000 different voices making fun of these commercials. And after the show, one of these gal from the audience came up to me after the show, and she said, "That's very funny." I said, "Thanks." And she goes, "Do you have an agent?" And I go, "No." She goes, "Here's my card. You need to call me." And so that's actually how I got my start. I auditioned for a Rolling Rock beer radio commercial, and I booked it. My very first job.
Your very first one?
Yes.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
From what I've heard before, it's usually hard to get roles and
It's-
get one on your first try. That's
Yeah, it was amazingly lucky because it never happens like that. It's 99% auditioning, 1% actually working. So,
what other kind of advertising have you done?
oh gosh, I've done for Kmart. I mean, I've done it all. I'm a bald guy that sells haircuts on the radio. Okay, so that's the great thing about being a voiceover actor is that you can make your voice do anything you want it to do.
That's cool. What kind of role would you like to do most in the future? Be it stage, movie?
I would love to just get involved in an animated series where I don't get killed.
Or a current role?
Yeah, a role where actually my character stays for a while before getting killed. That would be great. No, honestly, as a voice actor, it's any job that's paying, you're there. But a dream work, or a dream job, I should say, would be, to be on like a series like Family Guy, or to be on a series like The Simpsons. Or those are the kind of the pinnacle for TV series. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to be involved and get to work on a long-running series.
Do you get to go to a lot of conventions?
I have. Recently, I've started to go to more, just this last year. Before, I was going to maybe one or maybe two at the most a year. But just this last year, I did start to go to more, and now I'm starting to get invited to more. So yeah, and absolutely love going to conventions.
Do you have any fun con stories?
Oh, God.
Any terrible fans? Or
No, for the most part, honestly, all the anime conventions that I go to, the fans are awesome. Like, they're the nicest people ever. They're just, what I love about going to a convention is that everybody's there, they're happy, they're celebrating something that they're interested in, that they enjoy, and that energy radiates throughout the entire convention. So I don't have any real fan horror stories. I have wonderful stories of meeting fans that have enjoyed some of the work that I've done.
this might be a little weird to say, but you were at NDK
I
this
was,
September?
yes.
We were in the audience when you may have gotten sat on by...
Oh, no. Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yes,
that
we
is
were there.
awesome.
We saw
That
that.
was a hilarious panel. That was a hush-hush 18 and up panel, but that was awesome. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Talk about on camera.
Yeah, we don't talk about that stuff on camera.
Hypnotism,
Hypnotism.
and that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
That's why you go to the conventions.
Yeah, exactly. It's to do panels like that. No, that was a blast. I laughed so hard that night that my stomach hurt the next day.
That's awesome.
Can you tell us what kind of any of the voice actors or directors you enjoy working with, or obviously all of them, but some that stick out?
Some of the other voice actors or directors that I have worked with that stick out, all of them do, of course, because you really can't be a jerk and work this industry. It's way too competitive. So you really get to work with people that you enjoy actually spending time with. So when you book a job and you know the director that you're working with, it's a treat. You know, you get to go in and have fun and do fun work and enjoy their company. I would say I could name off all of them, but just a few off the top of my head. Tony Oliver. I just finished working on a series, Fate Zero, with Tony, which is an Aniplex release. Tony, I've known him for a long time. He's a blast to work with. And what was great about working with Tony on this series is he was so enthusiastic and excited about this series. And I've worked on a lot of projects. This one, he was over the moon excited to be working on. So his enthusiasm was really contagious in working with him on that. I've worked with Liam O'Brien in the past, old friend from New York, great guy. Mary Elizabeth, the list just goes on. I'm lucky to be a part of this industry and work with the people that I do.
Well, what question do you get asked all the time at conventions?
That's so annoying.
Well,
It doesn't have to be annoying.
It's the question that it's not necessarily annoying, and actually it's kind of close to my heart because I remember asking the same question to an actor when I was in high school, and it was, how do I become a voice actor, or how do I become an actor? And I remember I get asked that at every convention that I go to, and I always take the time to answer that as the best I can. Because, number one, I remember asking that same question when I was their age. And number two, one of the sweetest stories that I have from a convention is I had done a panel and was finishing up the panel. And at the end of the panel, a group of attendees had come up and they wanted me to sign stuff for them. And there was a very, very shy girl, probably about 12 years old, over in the corner. And I kept on noticing her out of the corner of my eye while I was signing everybody else's stuff, and she waited until everybody else left, and then she came up and asked me how she could be a voice actor. And so I told her, well, here's what you do, and this is, some of the things that you want to do if you want to go in that direction, and told her what I tell everyone. And later that afternoon, I was in my autograph line, and I had been signing autographs for about an hour. And this was right when my character had been released, so the line was really long. And they had waited. There's an older couple at the very end of the line. And so they had waited in this line for well over an hour to come up. They didn't have anything they wanted me to sign. They just simply said to me that that girl that you spoke to is our daughter, and want you to know just how special that was to her, that you took the time to actually tell her about how she can be an actor. And the mother was like crying, and she's like, you have completely made her weekend. And so that to me, I'm like, ooh, crying myself, So yeah, that's the most common question that I get asked is, how do I get to be an actor? But I always make it a point to try to address each time I'm asked to tell them how I would recommend going about it, because there's no one way to do it.
So is there anybody that you haven't worked with yet that you really think you like working with?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're guests here at this convention. Billy West, John DiMaggio, those guys like that. They're fantastic. I would love to get to work with Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson. Sure. Love to work with Seth MacFarlane,
I think
Sure.
everybody wants to work with him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Any con horror stories you want to share? Or don't want to share?
I don't want to share. I have one horror story, and it wasn't anything too crazy.
Somebody stuck in a wall?
Somebody stuck in an elevator?
No, in a wall.
Stuck in a wall?
Inside. They managed to get in through the wall. And
What on earth?
it's one of my best stories I've heard.
Somebody got stuck. How did they get stuck in a wall?
They're trying to do one of those things where you run up the wall and flip over backwards, put their foot on the wall.
And they put their foot through
They
the
went
wall?
Through the wall.
Oh my God. Who had to pay for that?
Probably the convention, I
Ugh.
would assume.
Gee whiz.
I've seen a lot of damage at a lot of conventions, so.
Oh. No, I don't think I really have any horror stories. I have one interaction with a fan that went a little awry. And it was because he had drank entirely too much alcohol when he approached me. So I'll give you just a short breakdown. Basically, it was a VIP event and where they paid extra to come and have drinks with the actors. And so this guy probably comes up to about here on me. Here. Okay? And comes up and he says, "Who are you?" You know? And I'm telling him, "Well, my name's Dave, and you know, I'm one of the guests." And he's like, "What have you been in?" And so I named off a couple of titles. He's like, "I don't know that. No, I don't know that. I don't know that." And then finally, I name off one of the titles that he happened to be a huge fan of. So he flips his lid, and he's like, oh my God, can I get a picture with you?" And so I'm like, "Of course, get a picture." And so he comes up, and mind you, again, this kid comes up to about here. And he's getting in the picture, and Travis Willingham is another voice actor, is standing just on the other side of him and says, "Hey, Trav, get in the picture with us." And so Trav comes over, and he's getting in the picture, and we're getting ready to have the picture taken. And I notice Travis is wearing the same shoes, or the same brand of shoe as I am. And so I go, "Hey, Trav, nice kicks, man." And this kid thought that I was making fun of his shoes. And so in his drunken stupor, decided that he should fight me. Okay? And literally, I mean, he probably weighed about $110 wet. So it was just, you know, he just had too much to drink. So Travis was like, "How much have you had to drink?" And this kid goes, "Oh, I don't know, 9. And Travis goes, "And you're out of here." So, yeah, that's probably the only weird interaction that I've ever had.
Awesome. So, can you tell us a little more about the actual industry side? I noticed I've heard about there's kind of this move a little bit towards people doing home studios and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, the industry side of voice acting and directing and it has changed immensely since I first started. When I first started, you had to have an agent, number one. You had to live in New York. You had to live in Chicago or Los Angeles. And I spent, when I lived in New York City, I spent my days on my mountain bike riding all over Manhattan to different studios auditioning. And in Los Angeles, I spent all day stuck in traffic, going around and auditioning. Now, I get to audition probably 80% of my auditions from the comfort of my own home. So, and with a very simple USB microphone, the quality of these microphones has gotten so good that you get really, really good quality sound from a $100 USB microphone. And I use a program that comes with my Macintosh GarageBand. And I'm able to send out. And I've booked
the mic by itself, or do you have any extra equipment?
I do. I built a little sound with sound foam around it just to deaden that sound. But again, I mean, probably a $200 investment, and to be able to record from home. And I've booked big jobs from the comfort of my own home.
We get asked about that all the time on equipment because we do a podcast, obviously. So,
yeah.
So it's nice to see somebody else saying you don't need.
You don't. Now here's the thing:
especially now.
Yeah, if you invest, a lot of money in equipment, you're going to get great sound. But you can still get great sound from a $150 to $200 microphone, USB microphone. And if you're on a PC, use a free program called Audacity.
That's what we started with.
Yeah.
That's our whole company started with Audacity.
Yeah, Audacity.
That's a great program.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And it's free.
Eventually we moved up to Audition just for other purposes. We liked some of the things, but...
Well, it has different bells and whistles and things that you can do with it.
For us personally, but Audacity started us that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what's exciting, honestly, about this industry now. You know what? I get asked a lot of questions. A lot of people are like, well, how do you feel about, big celebrities taking, voiceover jobs? Well, here's the thing, is it's all relative, okay? Because if you have, like, Kelsey Grammer and people like that are doing, like, the Mercedes campaigns or Lexus or whatever it is. And the thing is that, that kind of is frustrating. But the thing is, there's also a lot more opportunity available than there ever has been. There's more opportunity as a voice actor, as a podcaster, than there has ever existed, and it's only building. So, for me, it's all relative. There's just a lot more opportunity. It's exciting to be involved in this industry now because of the way that technology has changed, and the ticket to admission is so much less.
You've been thinking about moving into the director side more? Or
I have, absolutely. I teach voiceover courses. which if you want to look me up on Facebook, it's facebook.com/David Vincent VA for voice actor. I also teach with a company out in Los Angeles. I teach, we are doing showcases around the country where we'll go and I'll bring a casting director and a Hollywood agent with me and do voiceover showcases around the country. I've directed, I've produced a live action, not live action, reality TV show, just a local, slice of life type of TV shows. Did it on the Seattle affiliate in Seattle, and then in Los Angeles, KCAL9, the CBS sister station there. So yeah, you have to kind of have your hands in different areas in this industry. So I think a lot of us voice actors also direct and produce as well.
Were you a fan of this kind of nerdy anime culture before you got into voice acting, or?
That's a good question. Was I a fan of anime and this culture before I got into it? Yeah, I'll tell you a quick funny story. I had actually been doing voiceover for years before I ever started doing anime. And I'm sure you know who Steve Bloom is. Mm-hmm. So Steve Bloom, Spike Spiegel, Wolverine.
Love
Steve,
Spike.
Yes.
He's a character.
So Steve and I have got the same agent, and I was in there doing an audition one day for a radio spot, and Steve looks over at me and goes, "Hey, Dave, yeah, you ever do any anime?" "No, man, never done any anime." "You should do anime." So I'm like, all right. So he gave me a business card to a gentleman, Kevin Seymour, to call, and actually booked my first little roles in Ghost in the Shell.
Really?
As little background characters, yes.
Which, the series or the movie?
It was the movie.
The original movie or one of the...
It was the one that came out like 7-8 years ago.
I think that's the second one. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was the second one. But to answer your question more directly, when I was a kid, I was a big fan of Star Blazers. The original Star Blazers, and of course Speed Racer and different anime series like that. So, yeah, I would say I definitely got more reintroduced into it as I started doing the voices for a lot of the shows. I appreciate anime culture.
Okay. Well, thank you for chatting with us.
You got it.
It's nice to meet you.
Likewise, very nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.